teachers, it's Laura from Travel and Teach Online FAQ, and in today's video I'm going to share with you the latest information I have about the DaDa mock class and interview. So it's currently May 2019, things seem to change quite often, so whenever I get an update I will update you, or if you have a demo and it's different to this one, please let me know and I will try and update it again. But at the moment this is what I have. So if you've applied to DaDa recently or you're planning to apply, hopefully this video will help you with what to expect and how to plan that mock lesson. So I have here the preparation pack that DaDa send out to teachers after you've booked your interview. So what you do first obviously is you apply and you send off your application. I will leave a link to my referral link down below. If you apply with my link, I'm happy to help you more personally and it really helps me out. But yeah, you've applied and then you get your interview preparation pack. So what I'm going to do today is I have the pack here. I'm going to talk through what it talks about, give a bit more detail and give some tips or advice on how I personally would teach these demo lessons. So let's first talk about what to expect with the interview. The interview part of the interview is 15 minutes long and they will ask you about your experience, your availability, and they will answer any questions you get. In the past they've had a bit of time for you to play around in the classroom, a bit of training. It doesn't mention that on the preparation pack now, so what I will do is I will leave down below as well my classroom tour, just so you know what to expect when you go into the classroom and you know a bit what the different buttons do. And then straight after your interview, you'll have your mock class. It's 10 minutes long. Now in the preparation pack, it does say that you should prepare for both levels. There's a lower level lesson and a higher level lesson, and you will teach both. But as it's only 10 minutes, I don't think you'll be teaching both. I think they will choose one and you should prepare for both. I think that's what they mean. So yeah, the mock class, it will obviously show them, you will show them your teaching ability, and if it's still the same as when I applied, it will have some kind of impact on what pay rate you're offered. So obviously the better you do in your mock class, the more you will be paid. It's like a base salary. Okay, so it mentions what to wear. DaDa, we wear light blue, which I'm not wearing now, a light blue top, no sleeve, obviously not sleeveless, no deep V's. I think this is pretty obvious. If you're in the UK, I got mine from Amazon for about £5. You can also get them really cheaply from Primark. They also want you to have a decent background. So as you can see, mine's pretty simple. I have the logo, I have some of the animals, and I have my little name poster. I will leave a link again to this where you can get your own name poster and your own logo. It's on my blog. So yeah, just something simple, just show that you have a bit of colour in your background, that you're prepared and you're ready to teach. Make sure your lighting is good as well, have a light shining on your face, your camera is good quality, you have a headset. These are all things that they're going to be looking for. So they say they're going to assess you on 7 skills when it comes to your demo lesson. What I will do is I'll go through the skills first, give you a bit more information, and then I will talk about the two different levels and how I would teach each one. So the 7 skills, the first is to warm up. So this is about how you greet your student and how you make them feel comfortable with you. So when I warm up, I obviously always say hello, I introduce myself, I ask their name. If they can't answer their name, I will go on to, how are you? If they can't answer that, I will teach them the greeting, I'm happy. I have some little emoji cards and I will teach maybe 2 or 3. Usually I teach happy, sad and sleepy, and we will sing a little bit of a hello song. If they are higher level and they can answer these basic questions, I'll move into things like what did you do today, what food do you like, just to find a little bit more about the student and make a bit of a connection. As these demo lessons here are on animals, asking about their favourite animal or what animals they like and why could be a great introduction to this lesson. So after you've warmed up, only a minute, not too long, the next thing they ask for is to use simple language. So you want to grade your language depending on the student's level. Obviously the lower level the student, the less words you want to use and maybe the slower you want to speak. So yeah, grade your language. Don't say, oh, please can you circle the thing for me? That's great, well done. Just circle the elephant. You can use TPR, you can circle on the screen with your mouse or whatever you use. So keep it simple. The next thing is to engage students. They want you to use TPR, which stands for Total Physical Response. This is using movement and using actions to help the student understand. It also helps with vocabulary as well. So like elephant, you can do an elephant trunk. For a rabbit, you do rabbit ears. Listen. When I want the student to focus on the pronunciation of a word, I really point to my mouth. If we're doing a sentence, I just count out the words. It is an elephant. These kind of things. I'll leave a link to my TPR video down below as well that has the most used or the most popular TPR that I use. So that will give you some more ideas. The next thing is to check understanding, and again this is asking CCQs, which are concept checking questions, to check they understand the vocabulary and the grammar they're using. For this I have made another video I'll leave down below, and I will give you some examples of CCQs or concept checking questions when I'm talking about the different the two levels and the two lessons. The next thing is personalisation. So you want to ask students questions to relate to their lives. So again, ask them about their likes and their dislikes. Do they have any pets? Do they want any pets? Students are usually more engaged if it's something they're interested in and you're relating it to them. The next thing is to correct errors and give feedback. So error correction is quite important. If you see the student make an error with the key target language, then correct it, especially pronunciation, but also sentence structure as well. So if they say elephant, you want to correct it to elephant, for example. Or if they say it is elephant, you want to make sure they use an article. It is an elephant. An elephant, and get them to repeat. So yeah, error correction is important. And the last skill they're testing you on is your time and classroom management. So they want to make sure the student is talking a lot. As the higher the level, the more the students should be speaking. That's a general rule of thumb. But yeah, you don't want to spend too long on your warm-up, you want to get through the lesson. For this mock lesson, they've never really mentioned this before, but for this mock lesson they say they want you to get through at least 5 slides, and I think this should be pretty manageable. So yeah, you want to kind of, in your lesson plan a bit of the kind of pace that you want to go at. So they are all the things they will be looking for. The next thing it says is to prepare for both levels and prepare some teaching aids or some props as well. So I'll give you some ideas of the props that I use. General props I use every lesson, especially with my lower ones, are things like a star. So when I give my stars, then it's something a little bit extra to make it a bit more fun. I have a little microphone for when I'm singing, so I can sing. This one lights up. I can sing a part of the song and then I give it to the student to sing. I used to have, this one was like £1 from Poundland, but I made one with kitchen foil for the bally bit and then some black paper for the handle. So they're general props I use, and then as this mock lesson is an animal lesson, I would use either my little animals on sticks. So these are really easy to make. I just googled clip art elephant, printed it out. These are laminated, but they weren't when I first started. They were just on card, and I stick them to little lollipop sticks because I find this really helps when you handle them. It makes it a little bit easier and it makes it really great for games. So yeah, if you have a printer, something like this, or you can get little puppets. I think this is £1 for 5 different zoo animals from Primark. You can grab some toys. Something like this really catches the student's attention, and yeah, it just helps you engage them really. So there are a few props that I would use for the animal lesson. So let's talk about the lower level and how to teach this lesson. So obviously, like I already said, you would start with a warm-up, and unfortunately I can't show you these slides because DaDa has a bit of a rule that you can't share their material, but I can talk you through a little bit of how I would do each one. So the lower level, I would focus on the slide that asks about animals you can see. There's a slide that has lots of different animals, and this is to check the student's prior knowledge. So you want to see which animals they already know. Do they know lots of different animals? Do they have quite a bit of language? Or is this all completely new to them? So yeah, I would spend like a minute or so checking what they already know. If they know a few different animals, you can ask them a few questions. Which do you like? Are there animals that are scary that you don't like? You know, what is special about an elephant, for example? And then it goes into the main chunk of the lesson, and it's just 3 different animals: a giraffe, an elephant, and a panda. And it teaches what animal is it. It's actually baby, they have baby animals. It is a baby elephant, or it is a baby giraffe. So you would teach the 3 animals using your props. And at the end of this lesson, there's a little matching activity where they match the name of the animal to the picture. If the student or the person pretending to be a student isn't able to read yet, you can help them. You can read the word and help them match this way. So just a few things that you could use with these little pictures. I use these lots of different ways. Here are a few extra activities you could do. I use them to kind of create them in off screen and see if the student can kind of guess what it is. I flash them across the screen really quickly. This is a good review activity. I hold them up, we practice them, and then I get rid of one and they guess what's missing. So these are a few extra things you could do at the lower level just to kind of check their understanding. You can ask things like, for concept checking, is it a giraffe? Giraffe? No, elephant, good job, it is an elephant. It is a giraffe. So that's a really simple concept checking question. For the lower level, that's about it. You just teach the 3 animals. There's a bit of a matching activity at the end, and then I would go into like a little bit of a goodbye, give you a final star. If you have a bit of extra time, a nice thing to do is count the stars together. Practice saying, I have 5 stars, yay! And maybe sing a quick goodbye song. So that's what I would do for the lower level. For the higher level, you want to focus on getting the students to really expand their answers, speak in full sentences, and challenge them to push themselves. So again, this lesson is on animals, but it's a little bit different. It's based around a text, a short text. And to begin with, again, I would start off with a warmer. I would ask a few more questions just to assess the students' language. Are they able to talk about their day, their likes and dislikes? And this will give you an idea of what to expect in the rest of the lesson. So the story in this is called Surviving in the Desert and the Rainforest. And the first page, you can talk a little bit about, what does surviving mean? What animals can you find in a desert? What can you find in a rainforest? You can get them to describe the different habitats. So again, in full sentences, a desert is dry and dry and what? What is a desert? A desert is dry and hot. A rainforest is wet. There are lots of trees. Get them kind of using their language in describing. Spend a couple of minutes on that, and then you want to focus on the text, and this is where I would spend more of my time. I'd get the student to read it if they can. If it's way too difficult, you can read it and get them to repeat. And this text is actually about a Texas horned lizard and how it protects itself. So I get the student to read it first, and then I would personally, if the student's kind of reading quite comfortably, I wait until the end to make pronunciation corrections. I find making it as a student is speaking mid-sentence, it will kind of stop their flow. So I wait until the end of that sentence before they start the next one, or if they've only made one mistake, I'll go back to it at the end and practice it. So I get them to read the text first, then I would pick out the harder words and check their check their understanding of the language. There are words like tough, squirts blood, puffs up, protect. So I'd think about, if they don't know these words, how I can teach these words to them and how I can concept check they understand the meaning of these words. So for concept checking questions, you can start off more difficult maybe, like with an open-ended question, how does the lizard protect itself? If the student doesn't understand or they can't find it, you can ask more, more simple version. Does the lizard protect itself with its sharp spines or its, sharp teeth? And you can ask some questions to check they understand the text and what the different, what it's all about. So it's quite interesting actually. It's about a lizard that squirts blood from its eyes. and it puffs up its body. So these are quite difficult words that a lot of my students would know. So think about how, for example, puffs up. How can you show the student what puffs up means? You can just say, oh, it gets bigger, but it will also help if you show it get bigger. Even better, if you have something that gets bigger, puffs up. If you can think of an example, think of the different ways that you'll be able to teach this concept to the students. And that's pretty much it for that lesson. The last kind of slide is all about animals and their habitats and how they adapt to survive. So in this case, it's a lizard that lives in the rainforest, and it has sharp spines and squirts blood from its eyes. What an animal to choose! So yeah, with the high levels, I would focus on asking open-ended questions, getting them speaking in full sentences, and pushing them, making sure they understand the text, and making sure their pronunciation and sentence structure is great. Alright, so that's how I would approach both lessons. If you have any questions or you want some more advice, leave a comment down below. Before I go, I will just review with DaDa's cheat sheet they've given us. And also in your class, for the last minute, I would recommend reviewing what you've learnt, check your student, understands and they've retained something. So here are the 7 things DaDa can advise you to do to rock your mock class. Number 1 is pay attention to the student's responses and reaction. This is to check that the student is engaged, that it's something they're interested in, they are... if you listen, you can hear their errors and correct them. This moves into the second thing. It says correct the student's errors of the target language. So English speakers are going to make often, especially the lower levels, will make a lot of errors, and you can't correct them all because it will be really demoralizing. And sometimes they try and push themselves and use language that they haven't really learned properly yet. They're not really the errors that I would correct. I would focus on the target language or language we've learned that they should know already. Number 3 is to show evidence of preparation for the class. This means that you have your background, you're wearing blue, you have decent lighting, and it shows that you kind of prepared the courseware, you have maybe some props ready, and you know what you're going to teach. So you have a bit of a lesson plan. Number 4 is speak at a moderate pace and use simple sentences. So obviously I am speaking pretty quickly. I do speak pretty quickly most of the time, especially with native speakers, but in class you want to slow it down. Speak at still a normal pace, but a slower pace. The lower the level, the slower you speak and the more you kind of enunciate. And obviously, yeah, simple sentences. Especially when giving instructions, if you are circling something, you say, "Oh, please can you circle this for me?" That's a lot of words. Just circle the monkey. Keep it simple. And let's see what's next. Tip number 5 is encourage the student to speak more. Always important. Get the student to speak in full sentences. Check that you're not rambling. I know sometimes, especially with higher levels, if they're not very chatty, I can get a bit rambly. So ask the student open questions, get them to speak. If they don't speak in a full sentence, model it and get them to repeat. Number 6, use body language and props to enrich the class and maintain interest. So again, I'll leave the TPR, this is my top TPR pose. I'll leave that video down below and grab some props. And the last thing is teach at least 5 pages. And for both lessons, both levels, I think this will be pretty simple. I would spend a little bit of time in the beginning warming up, seeing what the student knows, and then for the higher level I would focus on that text, and for the lower level I would make sure they're practicing those 3 different animals and they can identify each and use them in a sentence. It is a blah 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 blah. Alright, that is everything. I really hope this helped you. If you have any questions about this lesson in particular, or working with DaDa, or there are anything you want to see a video on, please let me know. I only make videos when I have an idea, so if you have anything you want to see, yeah, just let me know. If you haven't applied for DaDa yet and you want to be a DaDa teacher, I will leave my referral link, and if you apply for my link to say thank you, I will help you out more personally and go through your lesson with you. And finally, I feel like I haven't stopped talking for a really long time. I'm so sorry. I hope this helps. If you like this border and you're a Minicam fan, I will leave a link to Kat's blog down below. She makes lots of cool Minicam things and some great props actually that might be helpful in your demo. So I recommend checking her out. She makes some good flashcards and things. And also, if you aren't already a member, come and join us in our Facebook group. Kat and I run a Facebook, like she's here, Kat and I, the imaginary cat. Kat and I run a Facebook group together called Travel and Teach Online FAQ. I'll leave a link to that below as well. It's for new and prospective teachers. We post a couple of times a week with some lesson ideas, some activities, ideas on how to teach and, teach and travel. But even if you're not traveling and you just want, some support while you're teaching, we're here for you. I think that's everything. This is a really long video. I'm sorry. I hope it helps. I've said that 3 times now. Okay, I'm going to go. Have a wonderful evening or day or whatever, and I will see you next time. Bye.